Hello everyone, this is Cindy Settleman here once again at Game Show Gumbo. We're just cranking these reviews out. We're now in week 3 of 2024 and we got more coming. There are more game shows coming. They're not going to stop until morale improves. And when it comes to this one new show, all I gotta say is this: Contenders ready! Gladiators ready! Debuting on Saturday, January 13th, we had the long awaited revival of Gladiators UK on BBC One. There's something I need to get off my chest, and this will be the core assessment of the show. Now that is how you do a revival correctly. We saw the 2008 revivals in America and the UK. The UK revival is based off of the US version. And looking back, those shows are worse than originally thought, although the US version did give us one of the best events of all time in Racquetball. The new UK version takes everything back to the glorious mid 90s when Gladiators UK was at its peak. It's got the color that we were looking for, it's got the atmosphere that we're looking for, and most importantly, no pools. The contenders or gladiators don't crash into a pool, ruining their uniforms or anything like that. No, that is done. That is gone. Thank goodness. What we do have is Gladiators at its core with some exciting events. Some new, some old, some reworked from old events. And you got it wrapped around the Walshes. That is, of course, Bradley Walsh, who is not approaching Mulhern levels of overexposure, but is getting there. But he's seconded by his son. I think it's Beggars Walsh. I forget his name. I forget Bradley's son's name, and I know somebody in the comments is going to tell me what his son's name is, and I thank you for that. But honestly, those two hosted really well. I also like the new announcer. I also like the new referee. The referee does carry the same cadence as John Anderson did on the original. And what can I say except it ticks all of the boxes? The Gladiators have a lot of personality. We know who some of the face gladiators. If we're going to go back to some of the personalities that the Gladiators had back in the old school days, we knew that Wolf was the heel. We knew that we had love and admiration for Jet, Vogue, Panther, Hunter, Cobra, Saracen. And in the new version, we are getting some of the personalities back. Right now, I can't think of any heel women, and all of them are amazing. I like Saber, and I like Fire, and Diamond, and for the males, I like Nitro. And when it comes to heels, well, you're gonna want to look out for Legend. Legend is starting to take that mantle of being the heel gladiator. Kind of like how Wolf was throughout most of the run, and then Vulcan usurped Wolf near the end when Vulcan was brought into the fold after Australian Gladiators closed up shop. Then we get to the set itself, and It's mainly an updated set of the 90s, just if it had the floor of the cube. Like, a lot of the lettering that you see on the sides, it reminds me a lot of the cube. And it just kind of goes to show you how maybe far ahead of its time the cube was. Then we get to the events, and right away we got Joust, or Duel, as you call it in the UK. And if you're going to start out with one event, honestly, there are two events, if you're going to bring back Gladiators, you start with. Duel was one of them, and the other one being Powerball, and I think we get Powerball next week. Well, next week around the time this gets released. Well, on Saturday when we get released, because I'm taping this on a Saturday. It's going to be put up Monday. So hello, people in the future. Hope everybody's doing well. Hopefully you're not frozen like we are right now. We had some old events reworked. So if you remember the old game Hit and Run, where you had to run across a bridge and hit a button or something along those lines, and you had to avoid the Gladiators' medicine balls. Well, that got reworked into a new event called Collision, or in America from the '08 revival, Sideswipe, where where the Gladiators just swing one way and another, trying to knock you off. Now they're in a hanging position. They're not trying to kick you, or actually not trying to boot you and fly like they used to do in Human Cannonball in the U.S. But a pure new event that we got was called The Ring, where you have to start from the outside and try to get to the middle of the ring and hit a button on the floor. It seems to be like a evolved... I was watching with a bunch of friends, and I think they called it Evolved Breakthrough. Like how, if you remember Earthquake in the U.S. revival, and I think they had it in the UK Sky revival, where it was a horrible version of Conquer. But it's very enjoyable, and if you get paired up with a Gladiator that you can plow through, you're going to really rack up the points. And then we had some old school standbys, like the Gauntlet got reworked. Instead of 5 Gladiators, it's 4. And they used the late era rule change where you get points for each part of the gauntlet that you pass by. And Hang Tough came back, and apparently, judging by the previews, that we're going to get Powerball, The Wall. I think we also saw Danger Zone, otherwise known as Assault, here in the States. But the big daddy of them all is the Eliminator. And the Eliminator is a mix of version 2, of UK's version 2, and version 3. Now, what I mean by version 2 and 3 is that it had the big high-low of version 2. It had the rope climb, the big trapezes, which was version 3, and the big balance beam, but now it's hooked, so it's a lot more interesting to watch. And I just love this show. I love the revival. It's a full 60 minutes, but it flies by. Like, it hits everything, and I love it. Now, it's a tournament format, but here's how it works. There are 7 heats, and the winner of each heat advances to the quarterfinals, along with the runner-up who has the fastest eliminator time. Then we have the 4 quarterfinals, the 2 semifinals, and then 1 grand final where the winner becomes Gladiators champion for 2024. I don't know what the grand prize is, but if old Gladiators episodes are to be believed, it will probably be in the form of a new car. or like a trip around the world or something along those lines. So here's to it, and I want this show to succeed. I really want it to succeed because maybe we can finally get a US version of Gladiators that doesn't suck, that doesn't have pools, and isn't ruined by Hulk Hogan, brother. Yeah, looking back, those that Sky UK revival and the US revival that we had in 2008 during the Writers Guild strike, it looks much, much worse in comparison. I'm just thankful that we're far away from a pool. And I might need to work on doing an induction for the 2008 version of American Gladiators because now that looks even worse. Final grade for this. I really can't think of any, like, if I was gonna criticize the show for anything, it would be really, really nitpicky, or maybe something's missing that was there in the past. I know Ulrika Johnson said there's no cheerleaders there, and I think she jokingly said it was woke that there was no cheerleaders, but in this case, it doesn't need it. We don't need the cheerleaders. It's as big of a spectacle as is without them. And maybe it's budgetary reasons that you're not hiring 10, 15, 20 cheerleaders for the show, and knowing how much scale is right now for UK shows, you probably saved yourself about $250,000 on the budget, or £250,000 on the budget. So maybe consider it a budgetary reason why it's not there. Anyway, final grade, I gotta give it an A. It is a beautiful show. I want this to succeed as is. Go and seek it out. I'm pretty sure that if you missed it, it will be up on the BBC iPlayer. So, what are you waiting for? Go watch it! Anyway, that's going to do it for this review of Gladiators UK. Not only I think this is great, I'm hoping that the upcoming Australian version, which debuts on Monday, is just as good. If not, who knows, maybe it's better. We'll never know. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Be sure to leave a comment on your thoughts of the revival of Gladiators UK. If there's anything you want me to cover, review-wise, what new shows are coming out, leave a comment below. Also, subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/GameShowGumbo. Get your name in all of the big reviews. Until then, Cindy Seidelman, so long, everyone.